Josh Duggar says his parents put image over family in texts from prison. For years, the Duggar family built an image around faith, unity, and family values. But now,
Friends, when the news started spreading that Anna Duggar was legally able to send Josh Duggar inside a federal prison, the entire internet was filled with one shocking question. Hey bro, how is it even possible to send all this stuff inside such strict prison rules?
So I kind of wanted to get
And
thoughts.
today, I've brought you some inside information. Something that will make you go, yes. We ordinary people usually think
Moving to a
nothing from
big city,
outside can
there's,
go inside a prison. But the reality is a bit different. So the big question is, what is Anna actually
It's how
able
those
to send to
messages were
Josh
allegedly
by
being
going through
forwarded
those
in the first
federal
place.
prison rules,
Because
or the
according to
loopholes
reports
people
circulating
keep
online,
talking about? That has everyone so shocked and curious. Are they getting some special benefits that normal prisoners don't get? Or is there some secret trick behind the Duggar family that people don't know about? In today's video, I'll break down the official prison guidelines, and also some real information about what was reportedly discussed, that many people have not paid attention to. So don't skip, watch till the end. Because in the middle, there's a twist that might really surprise you. Now tell me friends, what do you think about this kind of prison communication situation, and Anna's involvement? Let me know in the comments. And if you like the video, don't forget to like it, and share it with your friends. Alright, let's get into it, and try to understand this whole mystery together. Because most people imagine prison communication is extremely limited. Maybe a short phone call here and there. A handwritten letter once a month. But the reality inside many federal prisons today is actually very different. And honestly, much more modern than people expect. Electronic messaging systems now play a huge role in inmate communication. And when people hear about messages connected to high-profile inmates like Josh Duggar, the reaction is usually very strong. Because for many people, it feels strange to imagine someone serving time, still having access to emails, photos, or outside conversations. But the important thing here is this. We need to understand what federal prison systems actually allow, versus what people assume they allow. And that difference matters a lot. This whole discussion started getting attention when online forums and social media users began talking about reported communication between Josh and Anna Duggar. Some people were shocked. Some were angry. And many simply didn't understand how prison communication rules actually work. What stands out here is that a lot of the outrage online comes from misunderstanding the system itself. Federal inmates in the United States often use monitored communication systems like CorrLinks. And this is not like normal email, like Gmail or Yahoo. Every message goes through a controlled system, monitored by prison staff. That's a very important detail, many people miss this. Messages are screened, they can be reviewed. And they are not fully private conversations. And why this matters is simple. It changes the entire picture. Because while people online sometimes think inmates are secretly communicating without control, in reality, prison staff can review communications at any time. And honestly, that is part of how the system is designed. The Bureau of Prisons allows certain communication. Because maintaining family contact is considered important for behavior, emotional stability, and reintegration after release. Now that doesn't mean anything goes, far from it. There are still strict rules about what inmates can receive or discuss. For example, explicit content, coded messages, criminal planning, threats, or prohibited material, can lead to serious disciplinary action very quickly. And this is where online conversations often become messy. Many people use words like contraband very loosely. But legally, prison contraband has a specific meaning. Something can make people uncomfortable. But STILL not actually break prison policy. And that distinction is extremely important. From public reports and discussions about the Duggar case, there has never been confirmed evidence that prison officials publicly accused Anna Duggar of violating communication rules with illegal content. And that matters, because online discussions often mix public emotions with actual prison policy. But those two things are not always the same. Another surprising point for many people is this. Federal prisons sometimes allow fairly normal family communication within approved limits. Photos can sometimes be allowed. Emotional conversations are allowed. Family updates are allowed. Even things some people may personally find uncomfortable may still not violate rules if they stay within guidelines. This is where the so-called PG-13 conversation started online. Some former inmates and prison experts have said that certain facilities may allow mildly emotional or romantic communication, as long as it does not cross into explicit content or security risks. Again, this does not mean prison is relaxed or comfortable. It simply means the rules are more detailed, and not as black and white as people think. Why this matters, is because people often imagine prison rules as very simple. But in reality, they operate in layers, with specific conditions and monitoring systems. Prison officials focus mainly on security, behavior, and control inside the facility, not on whether the outside public personally approves of every emotional message. And honestly, that reality makes many people uncomfortable. Especially when it comes to a case like Josh Duggar. Because this is not just any reality TV figure. The Duggar family had a long public image, built around religion, family values, and conservative beliefs, through shows like 19 Kids and Counting. So when Josh's legal issues became public, the reaction was very emotional for many former viewers. And that emotional reaction still continues today. That is why Anna's loyalty becomes such a big topic online. For years, people have debated why she continues to stand by him, despite all the criticism. Some see loyalty, some see denial, and some believe religion and family pressure play a big role. But whatever the opinion is, one thing is clear. Anna's situation has become its own separate public discussion. Every new report about prison communication brings more debate about her decisions, her marriage, and her future. And social media reactions can get very intense. Some people say she should completely cut ties. Others say she has the right to maintain contact as a spouse. And this is interesting, because the discussion often moves away from prison policy and turns into a bigger debate about morality, forgiveness, and loyalty. That is really what people are reacting to underneath everything. Not just emails, not just prison rules, but the emotional weight of the whole Duggar story. Another important thing to understand is how controlled federal prison communication really is. Messages can be delayed, accounts can be monitored, privileges can be suspended, and inmates are usually aware that staff may review their communications anytime. So despite how dramatic online discussions sound, these are not secret or uncontrolled conversations. They exist inside a strict and monitored system. Why this matters is because headlines can sometimes make it feel like inmates are freely communicating without limits. But federal prison systems are actually built to monitor and control communication closely. And understanding that removes a lot of the mystery around it. At the same time, I do understand why people react emotionally. The Duggar family story has been in the public eye for so long that every update now feels personal to former viewers. People who once watched them on television now see these updates in a very different way. And that emotional shift
explains a lot of the strong reactions online. But separating emotion from actual policy is important if we want to understand what is really happening. Because prison rules are based on regulations and security systems, not public opinion. And in this case, the reality appears far more structured and monitored than many people assume. At the end of the day, the biggest surprise might simply be this: how modern prison communication has actually become. Not free, not private, but highly structured and technologically managed. And maybe that is why stories like this keep going viral every time new details appear. Because people are not only reacting to Josh Duggar, they are also reacting to the realization that prison life today is very different from what they imagined.